your health and well-being very seriously and want you to know that it's safe to come back and see your doctor. They remind you when going out in public or coming in the clinic for a face-to-face visit, please wear a mask to protect yourself and others. Avoid touching your face. Wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds. And follow all social distancing guidelines by not gathering in large groups. Avoid crowded places and mass gatherings. Graves Gilbert Clinic is also taking additional steps within their clinics, such as temperature and questionnaire screenings, limiting the number of people allowed inside at a time, frequent cleaning, and where available, registration and check-in can be completed by phone from your vehicle prior to entering the facility. Inform your provider prior to a visit if you have a fever, cough, or shortness of breath, or if you suspect you've been in close contact with someone with coronavirus. Many providers are still offering telemedicine visits. Call your provider for details. Graves Gilbert Clinic. Care is where the heart is.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Graves Gilbert Clinic, for being our sponsor. So it is my pleasure today to introduce our panel. Again, we're doing this peer-to-peer information sharing, and hope to do more of this because our partners, our businesses out in the community really need to start sharing their information with each other so everybody can be successful and learn how to navigate and adapt to this new world. So first of all, I'd like to introduce our first panelist, Jennifer Martin. She's with VidMonster Productions. VidMonster is a full-service video and creative content production company, and they have a core team of 7 and over a dozen production specialists that work with them. And they will all be introducing themselves and giving you more information as we go. Next, we have Michael Strautman of MassageFix. MassageFix is owned by a husband and wife team, Michael and Melissa. Melissa is taking on the role of lead massage therapist, and Michael focuses in on the general manager of the business with those responsibilities. And then our third participant is Barbara Stewart. She started a custom framing shop out of her home on College Street in 1952. She grew to become one of the premier interior design company in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And they all have a great bunch of information to share with us. So I am going to turn it over to each one of them to give us a short overview of their business, and then they will answer some questions as we go through. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in on the chat, and please make sure you are all on mute. And type any questions you have on the chat, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation and do some good information sharing. So Jennifer, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more?
Thank you, Dawn, and thank you to our sponsor, Graves Gilbert. This is an excellent panel, and I'm honored to be on it. At VidMonster, adaptability is the name of the game for us. We've always been adaptable to client needs, so when COVID hit, we found a strategic way to adapt the service line of our business. And for those who may not know, we work with businesses and marketing agencies to create custom content media, specifically video, photo, graphics, audio, and live stream solutions. Before COVID, we were really hitting our stride. We did a company rebrand and an internal process reset in January 2019, and it was going really good. March of 2020, a property opened up down the street from us. It was perfect. It had an office building and a large studio building, so we jumped on it immediately, and we moved. The property is the former BG on Stage location on the corner of 7th and Chestnut. We're now fully moved in, settled, perfecting customizations in our studio and on the property to provide the best client experience and creative options for the work we do. But as soon as we moved in March, the COVID news was very heavy and industry shutdowns soon began. Our shoots were being rescheduled, canceled by nervous clients, and our team opted to work from home, which lasted for about 2 months. 2 team members did stay at the office because we had to manage file transfers with video footage and so on from our private servers to those in our team who were editing from home. During this work from home time, our owner, Sam, and I had a conversation about live streaming. We were trying to navigate some new ideas. Everyone was doing a live stream. And I asked him, I said, well, what if we could put graphics over the top of someone's camera feed from home and help give businesses the ease of using their own devices, and enable them to send out a higher quality live stream feed over something like Zoom or on their own social media pages. And this way everyone can stay safe at home. And he said, I really like that idea. So within days, Sam found a solution. He knows all the technical stuff, I don't. And we created a new service line, which we call Stream Director. We manage your camera feed and incorporate it into a very technical and creative back-end process that shows on the front end very much like a polished and professional TV show or broadcast. So for most who are familiar with that, we direct your stream from end to end, so you don't have to do much other than clicking a link just to give us access to your camera feed temporarily. The new service has enabled so much to continue with a little bit more polish and take away the technical stress of those who needed that type of service. Business meetings, trainings, conferences, nonprofit fundraisers, and educational or professional panels were able to continue virtually while maintaining a high quality video experience for their internal and external needs. So we're now booked for our live stream services into 2021. Which I think is also a really large indicator that there's a hybrid option of in-person and virtual events to continue well into the future. And so as of right now, our business is doing great. And admittedly, it's exciting to be a part of a positive, adaptable change to help ensure the life can go on virtually aspect. However, it admittedly is a bittersweet feeling when our friends who own businesses or restaurants or who are or were self-employed, as well as other community members, have been negatively impacted because of COVID. And it's not lost on us how much is hanging by a thread right now for so many in our community and across the world, actually. We can't imagine how fragile their futures must feel, and our hearts absolutely go out to them. At the end of the day, we all have to find a way to be a part of a solution to help others. And VidMonster can do that with digital media. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. With that, I am going to pass it over to Michael.
All right. Thanks again, Dawn, for having me on. So as far as MassageFix, Melissa, my wife, she had been an independent LMT working out of various different places in Bowling Green since 2003. And she operated under the name New York Massage Company for some 9 years. And then after a brief move to Florida for about 2 years in 2011, we returned late 2012 and opened under the name MassageFix. And Melissa operated as a one-person operation in a 2-room facility that we've had for some 7 years on Lehman Avenue there. And really didn't have much plans to expand the business. She had planned on just continuing to operate as an independent LMT for her entire career, and then at some point retire and be done. But about 2016, Melissa's business continued to increase, and she started to run about a 3 to 4 week waiting list for treatments, and realizing that the market in Bowling Green and due to technology and things were evolving into a kind of an on-demand kind of culture. I had been kind of twisting her arm, and I said, let's work together on this thing, and we can hire some employees and create a concept around what she does. So I came on in the business in 2016, and I had a background kind of in business consulting and management, and really saw an opportunity to create that concept based on Melissa's methods and based on a high integrity massage therapy practice. And we started hiring additional therapists in 2017. And then over the following 2 years, we continued to really grow in sales by leaps and bounds over the next couple of years. And it afforded us the opportunity to relocate after we had built our team size larger. We relocated after 2 years of waiting, really, to our new beautiful place in the Thoroughbred Square right behind Rafferty's. And so we got moved. The build out occurred from about November until January, the end of January. We moved into our new facility in February of 2020. And then went on our first month here was a record month in sales. And then in March, of course, 18 days after we had just closed our record month, we got the news of massage therapy businesses being asked to close, and we were closed on March 18th until we reopened again on May 26th. And as far as how our business has kind of changed, kind of like we were talking during before we got started here, we really feel like because we're considered part of the healthcare and health and wellness industry, that some of the things that we have to do, like COVID screening, temperature checks, masking, all those things. But granted, they actually at first were going to allow us to open, but we had to be in full surgical gowns. So they've relaxed some of those restrictions. We're very thankful for that, because that would have been a daunting and possibly scary situation for clients that were used to coming in and seeing their therapist in a normal uniform, and then turn around and see them in a surgical uniform. So we're thankful that those guidelines changed, but we reopened May 26th, and so we're having to do all the screening and everything like that, and we try to bring in one client at a time, staggered appointments, a variety of different actions we're taking. We also extended the cleaning time between clients, so it's now at 30 minutes. Previously, it was 15. So there's just a lot of things that has made our business change, and mainly it's the process. When a client walks through the door, the whole process is different. But after coming back to work, we had our number 2 month in June, so we did quite well and bounced back pretty quickly. The good thing for us is we weren't fully staffed, so when we were able to reopen, we didn't have quite the problem with the capacity issue, because we were still operating with a small team size, and that still continues to this day. So things are looking bright, I think, for the future. We were able to thankfully take advantage of some of the SBA assistance that was available at the time, and just really thankful to still be open. We consider ourselves fortunate that we're still here. So that's us in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate that. And then now on to Susan from Barbara Stewart Interiors.
Yes, I'm happy to be here, and thank you, Dawn and the Chamber, for including me. The business, Barbara Stewart Interiors, actually was started by my mother, who was Barbara Stewart, in 1952. And she worked out of her home for years. She was an artist and a portrait painter, and it expanded into custom picture framing. And by operating out of her home for those years, she was an antique dealer. It just evolved over the years, and then started into interior design, which was my degree from Western. And I talked her into moving downtown in our current location. And then my husband was with Fruit, and we were transferred. So I was gone for about 17 years. She obviously did just fine without me. And then finally came back and and celebrating my 26th year here. She has since passed, and of course, I was fortunate enough to inherit the business. So it's kind of evolved over the years, and we now have our main store, which is gifts and bridal registry. We have a lot of home decor, home accents in this location. Our frame shop, which is where I am right now, you can see one of our pieces behind me that we just finished framing, is above the store. And then we also have the corner studio, which is adjacent to our building, on the corner of Main and State. And that's more of our design, our furniture, fabrics, wall covering, drapery treatments, you name it, over there. So we are kind of a mixed bag, I call it. But when the COVID hit us, of course, we were closed immediately. But there was nothing said that I couldn't come to work. So that's what I did. Everybody was furloughed, and I came to work every day. I transferred the phones onto my cell, and I got phone calls at all hours, and really was able to take care of our customers, which since we've been in business for so many years, we do have a very loyal customer base. So they would call and tell me what they wanted, and we did a lot of texting, which we continue to do. A lot of sending photographs. So I think that's definitely will be, standard procedure from now on, is people really enjoy the ability to, shoot me a picture of that and wrap it up. So that's kind of how it's evolved. We do offer bridal registries, and that is an online e-commerce site, which thank goodness we had that. We've been operating that for probably 15 years. So that's something that makes it easy for our customers to shop through that. And so we're very fortunate that we've had that to fall back on. And it's a big part of what we do. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Susan. So you've all kind of given a little overview about your business pre-COVID and some of the ways that you've adapted and really grabbed on to this challenge and said, okay, we're going to make this work. I'm sure at first it was probably a little hard and really scary, because I know it was for us here at Chamber World. But would you each kind of tell me a little bit of how you jumped on board to being adaptive, and as well as some of the resources that you have used to grow and to come out of this, or coming out of this, and help yourself. So I'm going to start with Michael first.
Yeah, so we, very similar to her at Barbara Stewart. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. Very similar to her. We went. Yeah, Susan. Sorry. We even though our business closed, since we're a husband and wife team, we went right back to work. We weren't doing hands-on treatments anymore, but we were hands-on with the business every day. And we used that time not to rest and relax, but to jump into the things that we've been putting off. And that's documenting systems, processes, working on our employee manual, working on all those documents that really are going to support the business long term as opposed to the short term. And we're really thankful that looking back, we're thankful we had the time, because it was an invaluable time frame that we could turn internally instead of worrying about taking care of customers, because we just didn't have the option. And we actually piloted a process by which we would help somebody remotely like this to maybe help them with their own manual cups at home and stuff like that to help with their pain relief. It didn't really work. I mean, there was really nobody, but I think maybe had a couple of phone calls. People say, I've got this issue, but and unless they had like the manual cups at home with them, it was kind of tough to make it a reality for them. But anyhow, so we tried that, and it just didn't catch on. But since we didn't have hands-on work to do, we really worked on the business instead of in it for the greater part of the 60 days. We also, Melissa's quite a good writer, so she got to get some of her creative juices flowing, writing blogs and stuff. And if you go to our website, you'll find MassageFix.net. You'll find a lot of the blogs that are a result of that time. So it really, what we started doing is, because invariably we'd have customers sending us emails, just checking in on us, seeing how things are going, because naturally everybody's worried about the places that they know and love to go visit, and they develop those relationships over time. And it's especially personal in the massage therapy space. You get to know these the massage therapist quite well, and they know you quite well. And so the blogs were a method that we could kind of get the word out about what we're thinking about the things that we're thinking about related to COVID. When we relaunch, how's it going to work out? So getting into that communication, and even using our constant contact email list to try to communicate, here's what we're thinking about doing, here's how we're going to, when we are able to reopen, here's the conditions under which that's going to change, but it's going to still be the same folks working on you, so I think we just kind of pivoted immediately and started focusing on, all right, reopening day, what do we want to have taken care of by the time we get back to being reopened? And that's exactly what we did. Thankful for that time, though, certainly. But also very glad to be back in business.
Yes, absolutely. We're glad you all are back in business too. So, Jennifer, would you like to answer the same question? How did you adapt? I mean, you spoke a little bit about that at the beginning of when you opened up, but some of the resources that you used to do that, and what were some of those strategies?
Yeah. With obviously I mentioned the live streaming adaptation, but I'd also like to kind of share some of the internal adaptations that we had to make with our team. So all of our team we're spaced out in our office. So as far as social distancing and having that safe aspect of it, we've been able to kind of spread out easily, and our studio is very spacious. So we were able to slowly allow clients to come and film in our studio, and we were doing a lot of filming outside and kind of changing and adapting our location of filming a lot. Additionally, our cleaning measures changed. Now we clean our gear and our equipment fairly frequently, but with COVID, we had to dramatically change how we clean it as well. And so, of course, all of our team, we have masks, sanitizing, and we also adapted a lot of our contracts to include a COVID policy for filming. And for me, I was dramatically searching, like, oh my gosh, where are we going to find a COVID policy that fits our industry? Because there's a lot of resources out there that fit many industries, like massage therapy or retail, for example, like our other two panelists, but there's not a lot of resources like that for videography. And it's kind of a little bit more of a standalone industry. We're not regulated per se, and so there's a lot of, you got to figure it out by yourself left to it. So we were able to figure out a COVID policy for our own internal employee needs, as well as external client needs, properties that we visit, if we're shooting inside another location, or and we had to even film in hospitals too. And so that was a whole different set of situations. So adapting our own internal processes and how we make a plan in advance with cleaning equipment, or masking up, or changing our location was a huge adaptation for us as well. And then of course, on the more creative side, animation and editing only options were a huge adaptation that we made. We were doing those things somewhat before, but COVID changing how we could shoot, or how clients felt comfortable shooting with us, we had to shift our dialogue very quickly with our project plans with clients into editing or creating a graphic animated solution instead of an actual live camera footage being implemented. So there are clients who also we've worked with for many years, and we do keep the footage that we capture on file for up to 2 years on our private server. So that also enabled a very large amount of clients to kind of rework their old footage and then repair that in with a lot of new edits and graphics. So kind of adapting some of the old footage with new graphics and new voiceovers, which was all able to be done remotely. So those were some of the other internal changes we made, and a few external. So our industry, it's just, there's not a lot of resources to go to on this topic like the other industries. So we're really having to kind of forge our own path, which is sometimes a little daunting, but I think we got the hang of it pretty quickly. The first month I was a little worried, like most people were, but the fact that I had no other industry resources to really fall back on and share with the rest of the team, it was a little daunting, admittedly. So
Yeah, it's creative. There's so many things that the businesses have had to do and get creative, and just listening to you two, and then we'll hear from Susan, but these are things that you probably would have never even thought about doing until all of this. So yeah, I'm very impressed with how businesses that are moving forward and adapting. And Susan, I want to hear about the same thing from you.
Well, like I said, we were here when we were closed. And we started doing live videos and talking about, different products, kind of, some of it was quite entertaining. Some of it was educational and informative. We tried to have some fun with some of it. We did one funny thing where we were, there was one other associate that actually did come in along with me, and we did an outdoor video measuring ourselves 6 feet apart, and the wind was blowing and product was falling all over the ground, and it was quite comical, but entertaining was definitely part of what we wanted to do. But we also, of course, did curbside service. We offered a lot of delivery. I was delivering way out in the county, and it was crazy, but we wanted to take care of our customers. And the other thing was we were trying to communicate regularly. We wanted to make sure we were not forgotten, and to make sure our customers knew that we were available for them and we were there to help. That was the main thing that we wanted to make sure that they did, that they knew we were there.
Yeah, that's and you're all talking about some of your best practices, which were some of our questions, of course, that we wanted to ask you about the best practices, but also your strategies in marketing. And I've seen several strategies that have come through this, and being new to the community, obviously, I didn't know what a lot of those were like before, but some of them that have emails that are sending emails, and you're getting that virtual in the face information as opposed to the face to face, which is a challenge in of itself, because you're competing with all of these other people and all these other emails and all these other, social media posts and things like that. So can you each tell us a little bit about what marketing strategies has worked best for you? Susan, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I would say our social media for sure, our Facebook and our Instagram. We also did a live sales event, and that was so much fun. We had customers that really wanted to support us. We offered a discount on some products, and they were there for us, and they came through, and it was a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, we're planning another one later in August. So we'll continue to do that. We're not doing our live videos we were doing it every day. And, like I said, I think it was entertaining, but now we've cut that back to 3 days a week so we don't wear everybody out. But yeah, just communicating on a regular basis, I think, is so important. We also try to let people know that, we're using the best practices for cleanliness and the masks and disinfecting. And we've got our floors marked with, the 6-foot marks. That was the first thing we did. So people can get an idea kind of where they need to stand, and the safe distance from another customer. And our shop does not just fill up like a big box store either. So we're fairly comfortable with, customers come in just a few at a time. They're usually there as together. So there's not that feeling of, oh my God, I don't want to go in because there's so many people. So
Yeah.
that helps too. But staying top of mind is probably one of the biggest things that we wanted to be able to do.
Good. Jennifer, same question. One of your best marketing strategies for getting through this?
So admittedly, I pulled all of our marketing down that we were paying for, and that was kind of running. I pulled it down immediately, and I wanted to be able to really assess if our messaging was being insensitive to the current health and social climate, and I just kind of assessed that. So I pulled all of that back, and in trying to plan and reroute a lot of our marketing, because we do work with businesses all over the country. We love working with the businesses here locally, but we do have a lot in other places that we had to think about as well. And I think for our community here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, we were a little bit more fortunate than other parts of the country. So that was another reason why I was very mindful of the messaging and wanted to pull that back and reassess. But during the reassessment period, and how should we market and what do we do? And while we were still kind of getting that live stream, stream director product situated and figured out, we did 2 things specifically that I think just changed everything. The first one that we did was more just because we wanted to do it for our community members and our fellow business entrepreneurs and owners and those that it affects. We created a PSA video for supporting small businesses and put that out. And it's, I think last week when I looked at it, there were over 10,000 views on that as well. I think it's a little bit higher now. So that was just that nice reminder to support small businesses through all of this, which I think we've all been mindful of. And then the second approach that we took was implementing the Panel Palooza series that we did, which was kind of a fun name. So we all need a little bit more fun. And we had to figure out how we were going to run these live streams, and what does Stream Director really do, and how do we get this get legs under it. And so we had to just bite the bullet and try it first. So we made an arrangement where we kind of did an intro, what we called the dream stream. We were just kind of playing and figuring it out. It didn't really mean anything in particular, but we just kind of asked each other fun questions. We live streamed it on our Facebook page, on VidMonster Productions, and we were just trying to figure it out. I was trying to have fun with it. I wore a pink wig on camera. The rest of the team obviously was a little bit more casual, so we're just trying to pep it up. And so we were able to kind of get that down, and then we implemented an entire panel series centered around various industries with elected officials and medical, retail, restaurants, education, and there were many, many more, nonprofits, events. And through the course of a 2-week period, we had a stream every day that was approximately 45 minutes. And we gathered no more than for various professionals in those industries that were located here in this immediate Southern Kentucky region. So that way we could offer an option to local community members and friends who we could get a read on each other, much similar to these panels, which I love that the Chamber is continuing to do these this way, because we absolutely need these kind of panels for each other. And so being able to kind of test that out, and also it kind of double dipped as a little bit of marketing for us, which there was no investment we had to make. However, in time, of course, kind of bumping up our equipment in order to accommodate some of the volume that we're seeing, and bring in more quality pieces for the direction we want to make sure we can offer for clients with these live stream conferences and meetings and so on. That has been an investment that we've made that's also kind of parlayed into our marketing. So again, that did double duty. So we've been able to kind of pull back, reassess, find that human element, and continue to support our community with that. And then of course, redirect and try some things on our own. And it's worked very well. During that time also, I think many other small businesses and those involved with them thought, okay, maybe now's the time that we can just do all those things we didn't have time to do. And so I was able to get a few things done. And we did launch a new website version. And so that's been helpful. And I know Michael mentioned, him and Melissa, they wrote plenty of blogs. And I think Susan has been able to kind of really get the hang of being able to do something hybrid. So regardless of what we thought marketing was or wasn't, or what it could be, or if we knew it, at the very least, it kind of gave us all this chance to try something new, which is pretty amazing on its own. So I'm always looking for, what's coming next, and not because I want to abandon what we were using before, but I think that at the very least, an upside to what we've experienced in 2020 with coronavirus and shutdowns is the ability to, again, be adaptable, like we've mentioned so many times before in this panel, as well as to keep our minds open, and to also that human element, and pull back and really reinvest and take the opportunity to do the things that we've been thinking about doing. So I think it's worth now. I think it's worth trying these new marketing techniques that we've been seeing and hearing about for a very long time. But thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's you've kind of hit on a lot of different points there, but it's how we're pivoting, how we're changing, and how we're rolling out new things and looking at things differently. So Michael, how about you? What have been some of your top marketing strategy and ideas?
Well, for us, it's always been social media. That really has been the key for number one, for us to keep connected with our existing clients. That seems to be the thing that people most have kind of been drawn into, is when we couldn't see each other face to face, we had to see each other somehow. And so it kind of drew us into social media. And so that I feel like that we already had a pretty strong social media presence already on Facebook. So we just continue to really drill at that. We try to do videos and things like that. Something that our clients could kind of latch on to, just to say, hey, we're still here, we're still working, we're not working on anybody, but we're here, and we're in, and it's the UPS store over here that's right next door to us. They never shut down. So, we would see our clients go by, and we're all, behind the front desk and waving at our folks. And so, another thing we try to do on our social media is to try to have a little bit of fun with the seriousness of COVID. So we, when we were scrambling for PPE in light of the reopening plans at the end of May, at the end of May, that's the particular time where everybody was having difficulty finding all the PPE that they needed. Couldn't get it on Amazon, couldn't get it anywhere. So we really tried to focus on, renewable PPE, stuff that we could do that was multiple use. So this is another marketing strategy we came up with. If we're going to have to wear masks, I'm going to put my brand right here. So, with little things like that, which, and when these came in, we were so excited because we were like, we got MassageFix masks. And so we took if you look at our page on Facebook, you'll see Melissa and I next to each other with our little MassageFix masks on. But, so I think the key, and Jennifer, really, you hit the nail on the head when you just kind of have fun with it. It really stinks that we had to be shut down. That nobody would dispute that, but at least you can take it all in stride. Don't let it get us down too bad. So
Okay, great. Well, I love that the three of you have used the word fun numerous times. You're right. If you don't laugh, we're gonna cry. So let's have fun and try to make it the best that we can be. And I love the mask idea. That's a great way to maximize your brand. There's so many different things to do to have fun, and I've seen some fun stuff on Facebook and on folks' web pages as well. And I want to make sure we encourage people and we have fun here too. So with that, talking about fun, I do want to get into some questions and answers. We do have a couple of questions that we have on the chat area. And Erin, do you want to read those questions?
Yeah.
I know some of them have been answered, but.
The first one's for the group. Do any of you have significant ongoing expenses related to COVID prevention measures? Are they significant to your monthly bottom line?
And Michael, I think that's a really good question for you, especially being in that healthcare related field.
Well, we had initially, when they sent down the guidelines at first, we were panicking because we thought we were going to have, like I said, full surgical gowns, eye protection, the masks and everything, gloves on. Massage therapists really need their fingertips. And we were thinking, all right, how do we do massage therapy when we can't feel what's going on under those, in those layers of soft tissue? So thankfully, after some pressure, I think that a lot of massage therapists put on the board of massage therapy, they got that changed. And so because we have to take such care to sanitize all the surfaces, but we were already doing that before the shutdown. So that didn't really change anything for us. But we allowed for more time so we could be more careful, clean all the surfaces in every room. But we didn't have any, just in the lead up to reopening, we had a significant amount of, I think probably somewhere in the neighborhood, and we're not a mass conglomerate massage therapy place, but it was a big enough expense where it hurt. We probably invested $5,000, I would say, just in getting all the PPE we needed to relaunch. Just these masks right here, I ordered I don't know, it was a couple hundred of those. You know, that was $500. But again, we had to really look for renewable PPE to make it work for us. So now that we made that initial investment, we really haven't had to continue to invest in PPE because the restriction was reduced, or the PPE requirements was reduced to just a mask, essentially for us, and good sanitation. And we also have vinyl covers on our massage tables and things that are easily wiped down, but not a recurring expense for us. We had feared the worst, but it kind of worked out just fine.
Good. And it's good for the ecology too, recycling, if you're using renewable things. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Either Jennifer or Susan, do you have any cost saving ideas, or what were your bigger expenses?
Well, I was kind of like Michael in the beginning. You couldn't get alcohol, hand sanitizer, and so I did some calling around, and luckily a drugstore in Tompkinsville was making the alcohol base in large quantities. And so I was able to get that, and they had some masks, and the disinfectant wipes are still hard to find. But as far as a significant outlay, it was not huge. And it's, I have masks available for anybody that doesn't have one, but most people have their own. So it's not been significant for us.
Okay, good. Jennifer.
In terms of PPE, that's really, really nominal for our team. It's because we're able to be so distant from clients. We don't have to get very close. We don't have to worry about sanitizing anything other than our own equipment and our own office areas. So I'd say between masks and sanitation and accessories for that, maybe about an influx of about $100 a month roughly. However, in software and equipment, which we wouldn't probably have taken on that cost before COVID, but because of the adaptations that we had to make with some of the more technical needs that arose, there was probably maybe I would guesstimate about $15,000 in investment that we made. And I could be a little wrong in that, but I feel comfortable estimating around that. But that was a one-time expense. And also we were able to kind of utilize that equipment for clients in the future. So it's a little bit more operational. Software costs increase quite a bit on the monthly. I would venture to guess a fun dollar number on that one, but overall it's not a bother. We were happy to make those investments and happy to make the adjustments that we needed in order to ensure that we could bring that along. So while it sounds significant, it just by proxy, the things in our industry to do our job beyond PPE are naturally a little bit more expensive. So they do have a higher level of investment than other business owners may have. So.
Okay, awesome. All right, does anybody have any other questions? I mean, I know that there's several business owners on the call. Love to, if you have a comment, you type it in on the chat, or questions, you can do that. Unless you have a short comment and you want to unmute yourself, I'm fine with that too. Nobody? All right, so I think what I'd like to do is have each one of you, Jennifer, Susan, Michael, we'll just wrap this up with one quick tip that you would offer to a business owner or somebody looking to even think about getting into business right now during COVID. And Michael, I'm going to start with you. Quick tip.
As always, probably the best thing I would say is take care of people. Do no harm. You and in view of the we were talking about before this started, the worst thing ever is when you have to ask the COVID questions and they can't get through it. Because of the restrictions and so sometimes we've about a handful of times we've had to turn a client away because it was too risky for them to be inside and on a table with our employees. And I'm a little bit I am actually concerned once we get through all of this. The stigma that's been attached to the disease itself, like once people contract COVID-19, at least I got from one client in particular, they told me this when I had to have that conversation with them. They said, I just want to know when I'm going to be treated like a normal human being again. And that was a heartbreaking thing to hear from somebody that just wanted a massage today, I that was a crushing thing, and she left in tears that day. And but honestly, there was not much I could do about it because of the restrictions that we have. Right. But all I could do is offer my sincerest apologies that we couldn't do it today. But I said after that 30th day, you call me and I'll get you on the table. So I think the key thing is to be understanding of the people that are coming through the door, because they're scared of this, and if they've contracted it, they don't want to be treated like they're like outcasts or right. It's not their fault that they got it. It just happens, and it's right. We're against an enemy that we can't see, and we have to be understanding of of all the people.
Thank you. That's a great one. Take care of people. Susan, real quick, one tip.
I would say being flexible. We have definitely become flexible in our business, and having a plan B. I can't imagine starting a business right now. I think it would be very difficult, but having a plan B of, I didn't have a plan B. What if, the what ifs, what if we can't open, for 6 months, we didn't know when we were going to be able to open. And the PPP money definitely was a huge help for us because it allowed me to bring my employees back. I told my husband, I said, either COVID's going to get me or being shut down and working is going to get me, because it was very difficult running a business all by yourself. Yeah. But I'd say communicating with your staff and your clients were definitely ranked right up there too.
Awesome. Thank you. And Jennifer, last but definitely not least, one quick tip.
My tip is a little bit more polar opposite, somewhat, is to just get started. Don't keep being afraid. Even before COVID, there were problems going on. There were excuses, but write the business plan, make the prototype, get started, figure out a way, and take the risk and just do it. This is the time that you can create something new and be innovative and be running faster than even your competitors who you may think are established. What you have is unique and people want it, and you have to just put it out there. You have to make the effort. You're never going to have it all figured out right away. You're never going to have all the answers up front. You're always going to have to be adaptable and human along the way too, but you can't live scared regardless of a virus or not, or just taking a leap of faith. So my advice would just to be figure out a way and just do it. And don't worry about it being perfect. And try new things and be open and ask people for help, because you can't do it all alone all the time.
Awesome. I love that. Ask people for help. And that is a great way to wrap this up, because I think this is a good way for businesses to connect with each other, ask each other for help, share those best practices, what worked, what hasn't worked. You learn a lot by what didn't work too. So thank you all very much for sharing your information and your stories, and hats off to everyone on the call for continuing to move forward. And like you all said, be open, take care of people, be flexible, communicate, and continue to do what you're doing, because we really appreciate what you're doing for the community and of course for the chamber. So with that, I thank all of you and Graves Gilbert Clinic for being a sponsor. And should any of you need any information, this is recorded, so that will be available on your profile area later on, probably later on today or tomorrow. So with that, thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.